I'd like to call the meeting of the Plaquemines Parish Council for July 11th, 2024 to order at 2:04 p.m. Machines are open for a roll call. Let the record reflect that 7 council members are present. Council members Edwards and Cognovich are absent. This time we'll do a prayer by Council Member Champagne and then the pledge by Council Member Jurcic.
We take this moment to acknowledge Almighty God and thank Him for our bountiful blessings, especially for the parish's natural resources. We give thanks to God for our brave and courageous men and women and our military who daily risk their lives to protect our precious freedom, and we pray for our world leaders to know how to obtain world peace. We pray that this government body, comprised of both council and administration, will always serve our parish with honesty, humility, and equality to all. And as this government body gathers here today, we pray for the wisdom to know right from wrong and the courage to do that which is right. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, at this time, President Hinckley ran into some issues and is on his way, so we'll go ahead and do 9C, presentation by the Sea Grant Program.
11C, presentation by Dominic Siebert with the Sea Grant Program. Councilmember Kotnovich.
Sorry, 11C. It's district update. We don't need offers. Thank you, though. Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Oh, it's working great. Okay, my name is Dominique Siebert. I am the Louisiana Sea Grant agent for Plaquemines Parish. If you're unfamiliar, Louisiana Sea Grant falls under the LSU Ag Center. I just received my master's in science from LSU in December, and I've been working for Louisiana Sea Grant for about 7 years. 12 years in the marine biology field, and today I'm just going to give you an update on the last year here in Plaquemines. Every spring, I start off doing TED checks for our larger shrimping fleet. I get the NOAA guys come in from Mississippi. They're our gear specialists. They'll check all of the TEDs, free of cost. We'll make adjustments as we can, and if there's anything that's like something that we can't fix on the spot, we tell them exactly who they need to go to get their TEDs fixed. Other things that we're doing with the commercial fishing industry, I hold a number of trainings and workshops throughout the year. I do things on soft-shell crab processing. I have partners who work on HACCP training. We do anytime there's a new regulation change or a change to their guidelines, we do either one-on-one or group trainings on that. I do things on microprocessing, seafood labeling, business management. We do a lot with the Reef Fish Outreach Program and ecotourism. I also work the Louisiana Direct Program, which teaches commercial fishermen how to sell their catch directly to the public. And I take them on step by step with getting their proper licenses and their permits to, proper handling and seafood techniques, how to interact with the public, because that seems to be the biggest hurdle. They're not as friendly as maybe they can be. And anything just social media wise, I work with them through Facebook or anything else that they want to do to advertise their catch. This year we held our aquatic education clinics for all of the schools on the lower end of the parish and then Belchase. We had over 150 students participate this year. We teach them how to cast, how to rig their lines. We teach them some basic fish anatomy, try to tell them the difference between male and female crabs or male and female drum species. And the kids get a huge kick out of it. A lot of times this is their first time ever holding a fishing pole or the first time they've ever caught a fish. And the kids have a really great time. We just wrapped up our Marsh Dogs Youth Program. This is a week-long program that we hold at the end of May. It's open to high school students in Plaquemines and St. Bernard parishes. We have the kids all week, and they get to do everything from fishing, canoeing. They the GPS mapping. We teach them how to use a microscope and how to dissect a fish and how to pull their ear bones out. We talk about ecology, food web relationships, everything coastal related on both ends of the food chain. And we do this at no cost for all our participants. We write grants and we have private donations, and that's paid for so the kids don't have to put up anything. We had our wetland day this year at Point Lahash Marina. We do this once a year. This year we were able to do the entire school of Phoenix, which is approximately 150 students with 31 teachers and chaperones. We had them come to the marina. They get to ride an airboat, and that's a big thrill for them. You know, we take them, we gun it up a little bit, and they have just a thrill. We had the adults coming back over and over to ride the airboats, and I was like, I have to let the kids ride first. But it really was like a great community effort because, you know, it's not a big community, and people heard that we were out there. We were there all day long, and they rotate through a different number of ecological stations. They learned about, the aquatic macroinvertebrates. They learned about sediment deposition. They got to ride the airboat. They learned about how things coming down a river and how that affects our environment. And so we had members from all over the community coming by just to stop and say hello and say thank you for coming out to do this. They haven't done anything like this in a while. Place-based field trips are not as common, I feel like, as they were when I was growing up, and to be able to provide this at no cost to the students, we do lunch, we get all the buses for them, we get everything that we can, and just really get them a great day in the outdoors. I also do Reels, which is a program for charter fishing captains, and it's a way to introduce ecotourism into their business model. So Reels stands for Recreational Engagement and Ecological Learning Series. This is a program, I'm only on year 2. I get funding from NOAA to do this, and I take some charter captains out onto restoration sites. We talk about different projects that's going on in Louisiana. We talk about how they can participate, and really I can only reach so many people, and a lot of these guys have people from all over the world that come to Louisiana. So if we can talk about our coastal issues and what's going on and how we're losing land and what we're doing better and have these guys do it, this expands that knowledge, that base that we reach, increases our outreach, and it allows them to say, hey, you can come fishing, but we can do ecotourism as well. I do a lot with disaster planning and hurricane preparation through my partners in Baton Rouge, Louisiana Sea Grant. We received 2 grants. The first one is based around Stafford Act disasters, and we've produced 7 fact sheets and 2 videos, and it's basically step-by-step for anyone from, the regular public to government leaders to people who work in NGOs, how to apply for your disaster aid, what disaster aid means, and for what disasters, how do you qualify. And we've met with other parish government leaders to say, tell us what you need, and then we produce those fact sheets in a readable form for, our everyday people. But we work with a lot of our disaster reps with NOAA. We work with local government, we work with state government, because we want to know what people are hearing, what you guys are hearing, and then you guys can tell us, this is what we need. I also assisted with the marine debris cleanup that took place in Braithwaite. We funded supplies for their cleanup efforts. We did the bags and the pickers and the gloves for them, so they just had an easier time for their cleanup activity for Love the Boot. I was able to get Alaska Marine, or AMC, to come down and teach a required drill conductor course. We held it at CCC. And usually this course is between $200 and $250, but this is a required course for a lot of our commercial fishermen. So I was able to work out some funding to get the course covered for our fishermen. And I was able to pay for 114 commercial fishermen to get this required course that they need. And I did the course with them, and it was, a really great day. Finally, we have the Plaquemines Parish Library Program. This is something that we do at the Ag Center. Myself and the horticulture agent and 4-H agent get together and put together a program. Next week, we will be at all of the libraries in the parish, and I bring a live baby alligator, which is sort of the hit of the program, and I'll be doing the same thing this week. So if you guys want to come pet a baby alligator, I'll be in the library program, and come see me. So. This is my information if you guys have any questions or want to contact me about anything.
Any questions from the audience? Mr. LaFrance?
Yes. Do you know the effects on the Manhattan industry with the new regulations that they had put on? Do you know any type of effects that they have on it?
For the Manhattan regulations. So we're not researchers, we're extension education and outreach. And so what we do is we take that research when it's available and we present it to people in a form that they can understand. I don't know if you've talked to a lot of researchers, but they talk at a level up here and they don't come down here much. So we haven't gotten any information on that quite yet.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Newsom?
Thank you. Great. So you spoke something about at the beginning about the shrimp boats with the TEDs and things. So, and you said y'all try to fix them, stuff that you can't fix. Gotta go. Is there, our shrimping industry in this area has taken a huge hit with prices, fuel, expenses, just the cost. Is there any funding available if they have to go outside of you guys and get those TEDs?
Yes, so if TED is sometimes things that we can't fix on site is if the bars are spread too far.
Correct.
That's not something we can just do on site. If they're at the wrong angle or there's simple mesh repairs, we can do that. They will have it either fix it themselves or take it back to where they got it for them to make the proper repairs.
I know you spoke a lot about some grant funding for this, and I would just not know if they had any grant funding available for the shrimping industry to get their stuff, their nets and whatever. And
Not for the TEDs. I know for the birds and for the bird programming that they're doing, there's funding for that.
okay, great. Is it possible to email a presentation to us, to me?
Yes.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Any other questions? Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
for your presentation. At this time, we're going to go back to the regular agenda item 2, please.
2, executive session, there is none. 3, proclamations, there are none. 4, status report by the parish president. 4A, update by charter directors.
Mr. President.
Good afternoon. Mine can be brief, the directors, they're going to be, they'll give you everything that's really going on. Just this last 2 weeks, we had mentioned at the previous council meeting 2 weeks ago about the $7.4 million grant for the EIS and engineering on the Walker Road from 100-foot to the 73-foot. We had basically, I guess what you would want to call the stakeholders, the interested parties would state, Representative Bro, Senator Connick, the port, myself, and our staff, the engineers. So, and it was like a kickoff meeting on the project. We're going to be pretty aggressive on this as far as not allow the engineering company to take that 3-year period for the engineering and design and the environmental impact study as well. We're going to get a commitment from them to roll with this for about 1.5 years on that project, and hopefully by then can find and create and know where the funding is for the building of the bridge, and then hopefully our direction that we want to go in is by the time we get this bridge built, then that way if the Delta LNG comes to fruition, it'll all come into play at the same time. So, and just this morning with Chairman Champagne and Charles, the port director, we've come up with an idea that we're going to, with our aggressiveness on this, we're going to have bi-weekly meetings just to stay abreast and stay on top of the project as well. We pulled out, Mr. Marco has pulled out our 2010 master plan for the parish, and I'll let Ms. Morrison just kind of expand on it in a few minutes there as far as we can see that we can still work with that master plan and for the basic needs and the direction of where the parish was needed to go at that time and where we need to go at this moment. And she'll let you know it's like the lifetime of a master plan as far as, things have changed. Back then we were oil and gas heavy. Now we're going in that LNG with the port. That's also our income source here. So I'm going to leave it at that, and I'll move on to Mr. Wishers here.
Good afternoon, everyone.
I'm going to start with grass cutting. Grass cutting, highways and levees with the tractor crew is pretty much still on the normal schedule they've been on. Nothing has changed there. And that's a roughly 6-week turnaround from the start of one end to when they make it full circle back to that location. Ditches on the east bank and the north end of the west bank is pretty much still on their normal schedule. Both of those operations, rain doesn't really affect them all that much. They're all in a closed machine. Sometimes it does affect on the levees, but we really haven't had any issues due to rain that shut us down. On the south end, west of the west bank, lower end, the ditches have slowed as far as cutting goes because our A-boom, two things, we have some mechanical issues with it, and we lost our operator. We do have an employee identified who has started the training and start learning how to use that A-boom. That's going to be a big thing. We're waiting on the repair to get done. As soon as the repair gets done, we'll get him on that machine, working with a partner, and start hitting some more of your lower end ditches. In the meantime, if you have a particular hot spot with a ditch, call us and we'll do what we can to get it with maybe some other type of machinery, whatever we can make work. We have reached out to several contractors requesting quotes or bids to provide cutting services to assist and supplement the prom department. It's obvious we don't currently have the manpower needs to make everything happen at a reasonable expected time. So we know subbing out will help, right? Soon as we get those quotes and get them all lined up, we'll come back to you and say, hey, what are your opinions? What's your ideas? You know, we want your involvement in making these decisions. That'll be a big help. If you have local contractors in your areas that you know might fit that category, either get us the contact info or have them reach out to us. We want to use local first. If we don't have local available, we'll go to the next closest thing. As long as they meet the requirements we have to be a vendor, which is minimal, which we have no problem working with anybody we can. Likely we could use multiple vendors to do this. So it's not one or none. It could be multiple companies to help us with that. We've also tasked the GIS department, which don't let department fool you. It's one guy. He's going to start identifying and mapping parish servitudes and drainage ditches, anything that goes along with that. What we found out recently is as we started checking into some of these situations, a lot of people have ditches, right? Especially the rural areas. When you drive down a highway, look at pieces of property, almost all of them have a ditch on one side or the other, sometimes both sides. Unfortunately, every one of those ditches are not parish ditches. They're not parish servitudes in most cases, which means at best case, we should have always had a right of entry sign giving us permission to enter that area because it's private property. Once we get these identified and marked and mapped out, we'll share that info with you. It's going to be a tool for us to help prioritize where we deploy our team and equipment, right? If we're spending time cutting a lot of ditches, yes, it helps. It's important to the person who owns the property where the ditch is, but we want to be able to identify a parish servitude ditch and make sure those are done, cut, swept out, weed killed, to keep those as the priority outfall ditches. We do know that there was some kind of a misconception on outfall ditches that align with culverts under Highway 23. If there's a culvert under Highway 23 and there's a ditch in alignment with it on a property, does not make it a parish outfall ditch. That was the understanding we all came in last year. It is not true. So that's why we need to identify some of these things. Not only open ditches, it's going to include subsurface drainage as well. I know on the north side, we have a special circumstance over there because we partner with Jefferson Parish. They handle the drainage on the north side of the bridge. And I think Ms. Patty has some info on that. When I'm done, she may want to chime in on that about some meetings we're going to have with them and try to come to a mutual agreement and at least have an understanding on how they operate, how we operate, and how can we blend that to make sure it's working together and not against one another. Road projects, the Highway 11 patches that have been going on, all the ones that were currently underway are all complete except for striping. They should be back next week to finish the striping. The last section, I'm told just today, was a patchwork down a little further south of Buras. They supposedly finishing that today, and I hope Jeff doesn't have the same stuff on his list, but I know Jonah sent it to me before. But so all that Highway 11 patchwork has been completed basically from Empire to Buras, including some of those little patches, with the exception of going back and striping it, and that should happen early next week.
The Highway 11 potholes that really was Mr. Kognovich's on his list. The very south end of Highway 11 down by the fort, as you turn around the Fort Museum, that's been patched. He had some down on Boothville River Road, those were patched. Mr. LaFrance reminded us of a pretty big pot sinkhole that was off of Milan Drive back behind Gilbo's the other day. As soon as he called us, we sent somebody down there, they addressed it. There was a manhole cover actually a few feet from it. We had to wait, and I think Robert Morgan's team and Infomark ended up getting a manhole cover down to fix that problem, within hours. So thanks for bringing that to our attention. We jumped on as fast as we could. Bergeron Drive, that's one that's been in the works. It's on the list. They were supposed to start milling that tomorrow. I'm assuming weather last week or so pushed them back. They're going to start that whole project. It was going to be milling this week, overlay next week. They're hoping to do the whole project next week. Southern Oaks, that bid package will go out next week, and it's roughly a few-week process. Soon as that process goes out, they expect to have boots on the ground in Southern Oaks mid-August, a couple weeks into August. That's all I have. If Ms. Patty wants to chime in on that Jefferson Parish partnership thing before we move on.
My life? Yes. I spoke with the council member for District 1 in Jefferson Parish, and he would like to pull Plaquemines Parish engineers and Mr. Witcher in his office with their engineers and flood control people. Jefferson Parish, for the outfall canal, has 2 pumps that regulate Plaquemines Parish. The one to the right is actually used to be part of Plaquemines Parish, but it was annexed to Jefferson Parish. And they have a skeeter system which would allow our administration to monitor when the system is on and off. So I look forward to that meeting, and I thank you.
Ms. Taylor.
Good evening. Starting with Community Action Agency, they will be starting their quarterly food distributions on Tuesday, starting on the East Bank for those residents who have registered with the Community Action Agency office. On Tuesday, they will be at the Bethlehem Baptist Church from 9 to 9:30, St. Joseph Baptist Church in Phoenix from 10 to 12, at the Percy Griffin Center from 1 to 3. Those 3 places on the 16th. On the next day, the 17th, they will be coming over to the West Bank at the Community Action Agency office from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. They will leave there and go to the YMCA in Port Selfer on the 18th from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Then on the 19th, they'll be at the Council on Aging in Boothville from 9 to 11. And then on that Friday, they'll be at the Council on Aging in Boothville and at the Beers Auditorium from 1 to 3 p.m. I'll have my secretary forward that information to you all. I want to give a shout out to the Finance Department. The audit is complete and we had 0 findings. So congratulations to the Finance Department. And they will be sending out a hard copy or electronic copy, whichever they receive first, to each of you all. Also in your package, you may have noticed there were 2 new reports, expenditures and revenues reports. We are required now by the state to make sure we put those out once a month. So once a month, you'll be receiving those reports from the Finance Department. If you review them and you have any questions, please reach out to the Finance Department. On the HR end, we are doing pre-renewal meetings for the 2025 employee benefits renewal. We will be sending out the questionnaire as we do every year to employees and all those who have these benefits. We also will be meeting with the committee to discuss the renewals, so we are in the process of getting that started. That's all I have on my end.
Good afternoon. To add on to one of the road projects, the Bell Chase concrete job came up at one of the town halls this week. When Bergeron is done and they start working on Southern Oaks, they'll kind of finalize it. That's next in line. That project's next in line. There's a lot more repairs than there is funding, so they'll prioritize some of the worst spots for that project, and that's the next in line. The Entergy, the power problems in the Port Sulphur area, I've been in constant contact with Entergy. They seem like they've identified several problems in that area. There was a problem coming off of one of the transformers going to the government building. They've taken care of that. Hopefully, moving forward, we don't have these problems. The transfer switch was repaired yesterday to the Port Sulphur building. Let me know if there's any issues with that. I think Telecom's down there today to take care of any phone or internet issues. They also found a couple of issues that was causing problems at the Port Sulphur lockup and the YMCA. There was a couple of connectors. I know the YMCA was having some power issues in the past month or so. So they've identified a couple of issues that they've taken care of. Again, let me know if there's any other issues. I'll stay on Entergy. The film company in Braithwaite, they've extended the contract to this coming Monday, July 16th. I think they have a couple more things to do, but maybe they'll wrap that up. The YMCA pools, Burris is done, but the final leak test, they found a small leak around one of the skimmers. And you know, water systems, you don't know there's a leak until you do a little pressure test on it, especially underground water lines. But that'll be addressed. Port Sulphur, they finished chipping all of the plaster, and they started repairs on the cracked wall and the coping earlier this week. The SPCA, I know that's been a hot topic. I've met with SPCA and the HVAC company several times this week, had conversations with them every day. We're assessing that situation. Actually, here in the next hour or so, we expect delivery of a portable 5-ton unit that will replace one of the units. It's a very complicated HVAC system, geothermal system in that building. It's never worked from the get-go. But we're going to eliminate one of the units on the left-hand side where the dog runs are on that side. One of those units, several of the units been giving us problems. We're going to eliminate one of those units and put a 5-ton portable unit in that area. That's going to alleviate a lot of the problems on that entire side of the building. We're going to, the HVAC company's coming in early next week to evaluate the rest of the building, and they're pretty confident that we could do some short-term fixes to get us through the summer. And we've spoken with the consultant to kind of expedite the plans for the new building. And we're going to keep pushing them and all involved to get that project rolling as quickly as possible. And that's all I have, if y'all have any questions.
Good afternoon. So I'll start by piggybacking off of President Hinckley's discussion about the current master plan. So in doing some research and reviewing our current master plan, which was done in 2010, a parish government master plan may have a 10 to 15-year life cycle. So currently we are at about the 14-year mark with our current master plan. The administration team has reviewed the plan in extensive detail, which each department has taken over and kind of went through the plan page by page to see where we are with that plan from 2010 to today. So we are going to be working on a template that will track and report where we are on the plan. Let's see what else. Where we are going, and then give an overview of the actual plan from 2010. And then we will work from there on creating a strategic plan and how we can stay on track with that master plan from 2010. There are a lot of things that have been updated as far as our populations and demographics and things of that such. But as we reviewed the plan, we saw that a lot of what was in the plan has been accomplished, and we're moving forward with a lot of the things that were recommended in the plan. So we're very positive about what we can do in this next year and a half with the plan, and it will help us build a new plan that will take us into the next 10 to 15 years as a parish. So that's where we are with the plan, and as we continue to work on that, I'm sure President Hinckley or the administration will provide you with updates. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
At this time, we'll have public comment. Again, I want to remind people, if you come up, state your name and address, and it's public comment, not question and answer. Any public comment? All right, Mr. Jursich?
Yes, this is directed to you, Billy. Highway 11 grass is really getting high from in Empire Home Place area.
The good thing is it was better than I thought it was going to be when I rode it yesterday, all the way down through Boothville Road. I can tell they had made a pass a few weeks ago, and I'll find out where they are in that rotation to catch it, because again, they catch that when they catch the levee too.
Right.
So
yeah.
I'll make sure that stays in that same alignment, and I'll let you know what the ETA is on getting to that area.
Yeah, because it's really high
Yeah,
right now.
you're right.
One of the other things that Highway 11 repair, the last repair headed north has got a pretty good hump to it, but I know that they had to change the pipe that ran, the culvert pipe that ran underneath. So I'm assuming they left it a little bit elevated for settlement and I think I heard they would come back after a certain time and mill it level. So
Check it and mill it if it needs be. Okay.
okay, good.
I'll follow up on that.
Is that around the Triumph area or a little bit?
This is in
Okay.
the Narren area, and it's a pretty good hump. If you hit it going fast, you're gonna know you hit it. And Jeff, this is for you. That water leaking out the back of the government building, has that been addressed yet?
That's a situation where we're gonna have to shut down the complex to get to that, because they can't, we don't know what it's gonna shut down. So we're gonna coordinate with Inframark, and we're gonna have to do it on a weekend when we could shut the entire complex down.
Yeah,
Because
the water's getting in the basement and everything now. It's a pretty good bit of water leaking out the.
you talking about behind finance?
Behind the Port Suffolk government.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, okay. We'll send somebody down there.
Yeah, I think it's something to do with the sprinkler systems or something like that.
Okay.
It's been reported for a good while, it's just nobody showed up. I know the custodian had waited one day, they were supposed to show up around 2 o'clock, and nobody showed up that day.
Okay. We'll get somebody down there.
Okay, all right, thank you, that's all I have, thank you.
Ms. McCarty?
Mr. Witchers, I wanted to thank you for looking into getting contractors to cut the grass. Did you say that District 5 has more servitude or areas to clarify that
You
statement?
may not have as many servitudes, but you have several large servitudes.
Okay.
So that's for sure.
So the people would be very happy to hear
Right.
about that. And when you map the parish for the servitude and ditches, and we find out that something actually would be the responsibility of the homeowner instead of the parish, if we switch to requiring them to cut that grass, or are we going to do that first?
I don't think that's the plan at this point.
Okay.
It's more of a plan to identify and prioritize.
Okay,
That
good.
way we can best utilize our people and equipment to get what needs to be done first. A lot of it is really beautification. It looks ugly. It's really not causing a
Yeah.
problem. We want it to look pretty, but we want to prioritize what's causing problems. You don't have as many open ditches as the other ones do too. Maybe that's a good thing, I'm not sure. You have a lot of subsurface stuff.
Yes.
But for where the open ditches are, I mean, we still have thousands of ditches that have trees growing in them. Those are more of an issue than a ditch that's been cleaned and it just has grass growing in it. So that's what we mean by that.
Okay, good, thank you. I would like to thank everyone, and it was a big effort to pull together the Independence Day celebration. I know that everyone on this board had a piece of it, and also with prom, I'd like to thank them for going out to help, and even the fire department from Mr. DeMarco, prom with Mr. Witchers. And Ms. Morrison, I think she had her very first successful Parks and Recreation Kids Activity Program at the Pavilion. The kids certainly looked to be very occupied and happy. Unfortunately, the fireworks, there was a deluge of rain, and the fireworks were all destroyed. But I thank everyone for coming out. Thank you.
France.
Yes. Mr. Marco, at the next meeting, could you give us an update on where we at with the relocation of the 20-inch water line in Port Sulphur?
So we have an opportunity, and we're going after that opportunity. There's some community development funds allocated through LDH that there's a big pot that was allocated for specifically for emerging contaminants, and saltwater was designated last year by LDH as an emerging contaminant. In our area, Plaquemines Parish was identified as one of those areas in most need of identifying and addressing emerging contaminants. And that project that you're talking about, I sat down with engineering and Kyle Associates, and we sat down and prioritized and identified several projects that we would apply that money to if we were awarded it. And we're going to be pretty aggressive, and that's one of the projects that was identified. You talk about the 3-mile stretch in Port Sulphur? Yeah. That was one of the projects that we identified that's high on our priority. So we're gonna stay on that and try to get that funding to move that project.
Okay. Also, several weeks ago, maybe months, the lights that's going to the Port Sulphur YMCA. Where we at with that?
I'm talking with Entergy. That's kind of like a government entity. They take their good old time with getting the engineers out there and see what we could do about it. But that's one of the conversations I'm having with Entergy as well.
Mr. Witchers, what is the definition of outfall ditch? You never did tell us.
I don't know that we have a definite definition of what it is. An outfall ditch just means it's bringing it from the highway in your situation to the back canal. But you know, almost every property has a ditch next to it.
Right.
That doesn't make it a parish ditch.
Right.
No, some cases the parish may have even dug that ditch years ago.
Right.
It's still on private property. Technically, we don't have access to get to that without having a right of entry signed to cover us in case we damage property or someone says they fell in a hole that we made, any of those situations.
So if the parish dug the ditch, the parish would have had to have a right of entry?
Could maybe. Yeah, we haven't gotten that far down the list to check and see what's all the paperwork.
Okay. Mr. Hinckley, I know we are in conversation with CPRA, dealing with 3 projects that communities that live outside of levee protection. I would like to make a request that when we talk to CPRA, you talk to them about Myrtle Grove, trying to help them with a floodgate, Martin Lane, Grand Bayou Lane, Grand Bayou Road, to see if we can get that raised in Blacktop. I know if that's possible, that'll help us a lot. And also legal, I would like to thank you for receiving the letter yesterday so I could pass out to the residents in Lake Hermitage dealing with our Susie Bayou project. I got it yesterday, a little late, but I'll be able to, over the weekend, I'll be able to pass it out to the residents back there. Thank you.
Add one more thing.
I don't know if there are any more questions.
No, that's it.
We have a new hire this week for our coastal zone. If you don't mind, I'd like for her to be able to get up and introduce herself. It's a great hire. She hit the ground running. She's another high energy level lady working in our office here. So really excited about her. And Kimberly, if you could.
Of course. Good afternoon, Council. My name is Kimberly Buck, and I'm the new Coastal Director. A little background information. I received my BS and my MBA from Tulane University, and I've spent a majority of my career in government. I've lobbied, and in my last title, I was Public Information Director for the state of Louisiana. And I also had key roles being with the EOC and GOSEP. Born and raised in Plaquemines Parish, and that's about it. Any questions?
Any questions from the audience or from the, Mr. Jurisich?
Welcome aboard. We're glad to have you. I know you very well, and we talked, and we're looking forward to some great things ahead. Thank you.
We're going to try to make them happen and quickly. Anyone else?
Mr. LaFrance?
Any relationship to Rob Buck?
Yes, that's my husband.
That's a good thing?
He's not from here.
Ms. McCarty?
I just have to say, I didn't know that you went to Tulane, so that's great. I did.
Roll wave.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great.
All right, thank you. Welcome aboard.
Thanks.
All right, next item, please.
5, bids and advertisements, there are none. 6, beer and liquor licenses. 6A, Empire South Pass Tarpon Rodeo to be held on August 1st and 2nd of 2024 from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and August 3rd, 2024 from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Located at 33373 Highway 23, Empire, Louisiana 70050.
Offered by Mr. Jurisich, second by Ms. LaFrance. Any comments from the audience? Administration, table, machines are open. Passes 7-0 with, 7-0. Has anybody talked to Mr. Kognovich about his items? I have not. All right, so we'll defer the construction permits because they're both by Mr. Kognovich.
8, introduction of ordinances and resolutions.
The following introductions are on behalf of Councilmember Schultz. An ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvements plan, water annual maintenance project, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution providing for the canvassing of the returns and declaring the results of the special election held in the parish of Plaquemines, state of Louisiana, on Saturday, March 23rd, 2024, and to promulgate the results thereof. An ordinance to amend the 2024 operating revenue and expenditure budgets to accept a donation for Plaquemines Parish Day at the state legislature and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 2024 general fund operating expenditure budget, self-insurance program department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. This one is for Councilmember Champagne, an ordinance to amend Chapter 4 of the Parish Code of Ordinances by enacting Section 4-1.1, Fairs, Festivals, and Special Events, establishing regulations for the issuance of special temporary retail alcoholic beverage permits, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. This one is for Councilmember Jurisich, a resolution asking the Federal Emergency Management Agency and Congress to reconsider the flood insurance rate maps as it relates to the National Flood Insurance Program and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. And the final one is for Councilmember Kognovich, an ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvements plan, repairs, Daybrooks Lift Station Replacement Project, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto, and that is it.
All right, thank you. At this time, we'll go through the deferrals. 9B will be deferred. 9D will be deferred. And since nobody talked to Mr. Kognovich, 9I will be deferred. Any other deferrals that anybody has or withdrawals? H, I am being told to defer or withdraw? Defer. 9H will be deferred.
Let me make a statement on that. Wood. The reason why I'm going to defer this, I'm going to wait until we get the rollover from last year, so we wouldn't have to try to take that money out of the emergency fund, just in case if we have a hurricane or anything. I wouldn't want to try to take that kind of money. So I will defer it until we get the rollover.
Thank you.
All right?
All right, any other deferrals, withdrawal? I'll go through it one more time. 9B as in Bravo, D as in Delta, H and I will all be deferred. All right. Hotel in India.
Tell him, Brian.
Next item, please.
9, ordinances and resolutions on second reading and final passage. 9A, ordinances and public hearings pursuant to Article 6, Section 601E of the Plaquemines Parish Charter. 6A1, an ordinance approving a plan of re-subdivision of the property of Gary Grimmett, map of re-subdivision of former CLL property sections 3 and 45, T17S R25E, Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, into Lot 59B, Suzie Bayou Campsites, Sections 3 and 45 T17S R25E, Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, as shown on the plan and plat of survey by Dufran Surveying and Engineering Incorporated, dated April 19, 2024, the owner having fulfilled all the requirements of the subdivision and re-subdivision ordinance of the parish of Plaquemines, without cost to the Plaquemines Parish government or the parish of Plaquemines, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember LaFrance.
Offered by Mr. LaFrance, second by Ms. McCarty. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Machines are open. Passes 7-0. Next item, please.
2, an ordinance to amend Chapter 15, Section 15-4, speed limits to include provisions to change the speed limit on East Bayou Road from the pumping station through the residential area, to install the appropriate speed limit signs, to establish a penalty for the violation thereof, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Jurisic.
Offered by Mr. Jurisic, second by Ms. McCarty. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Machines are open. Passes 7-0. Next item, please.
C, an ordinance to authorize an act of sale by the parish of Plaquemines to sell certain adjudicated properties by public auction and otherwise provide with respect thereto. Councilmember LaFrance.
Offered by Mr. LaFrance, second by Mr. Jurisic. Any comments from the audience? Yes, sir. State your name and address, please.
Clarence Brooks, 156 Enos Campbell on this auction. Will it be online, or can we come to a place and we could do the auction face to face?
This
project here has already been done.
It's been done already?
This one's already been done.
That's the one that was done online? You could tell.
It's through the adjudicated program. Mr. Bierce.
The properties are advertised and they're done at the Building 100. So you can go on the parish website or parishtaxland.com and click on the link to Plaquemines Parish Government, and it'll show all of the available properties for auction. And if anyone's interested in those properties, they can fill out an application, put a deposit in, and bring a property to auction if it's something they're interested in.
Yeah, but the problem is that when you do it online, you don't know how fair it is, because you're doing it by percentage, and
it's not by percentage.
Not
no.
Okay.
This is done in person.
Or the one in person.
It's bid up. Someone puts down the minimum amount. Anyone can show up and bid against the person who applied to get the property, and the highest bidder wins. There's no percentage involved. And they're done at the...
Yeah, that's the one I really prefer. The people would prefer that because you face them face to face and you know exactly what's going on.
That's what we do.
All right, I appreciate that then. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Machines are open. Passes 7-0. Next item, please.
E, an ordinance authorizing the acceptance of a donation from the Ambulances Department and to amend the 2024 Public Health Fund operating revenue and expenditure budgets, Ambulances, General Department, and otherwise provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
I offer ask for a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. LaFrance. Any comments from the audience? Administration?
Yeah.
Table? Yes.
I just want to recognize.
You want me to give the update or you want? Go ahead. Go ahead.
I just want to recognize that Chevron was most gracious to donate the money for the cost of a Lucas device for our EMS services. I just wanted to recognize them. They're a great community partner.
Thank you. Any other comments from the table? Machines are open. Passes 7-0. Next item, please.
F, a resolution approving the submittal of the Louisiana Development Ready Communities Program, a strategic effort of the Louisiana Economic Development to assist all of Louisiana's communities to become more competitive in today's global economy. LDRC program is a community assessment, strategic planning, leadership development, and marketing planning process tool for Plaquemines Parish and otherwise provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
I offer, ask for a second. Second by Ms. McCarty. We have fill in blank on line 34, which would be today's date, June 11th, 2024. July, thank you. I cannot keep track of the month. Any comments from the audience? Yes, sir.
Clarence Brooks, 156, Enos Campbell. Economic development. The question is, on East Bank and District 1, it's hard to compete in economic, to get the parish that side of the river to put up any kind of thing economically. For instance, if I want to put up a barber shop, I have to go into about $200,000 in debt to put up a barber shop because we got to elevate the building, and all that is costful. So it is almost impossible for us to do anything on the East Bank economically, anything outside the flood wall. I just want to let you know.
Yes, sir.
Louisiana we have a good chance to do nothing to grow.
Yes, sir. Any other comments from the audience? Administration? Ms. McCarty?
Mr. Brock, I just wanted to say that I know that administration is working hard to harden the parish, and that allows us to get a better rating from FEMA. It'll take a while, but we are in the process of trying to do that, just to let you know.
Any other comments? Machines are open. Passes 7-0. Next item, please.
G, a resolution ordering and calling a special election to be held in the parish of Plaquemines, state of Louisiana, to authorize the continuation levy and collection of a special tax therein, making application to the State Bond Commission and providing for other matters in connection therewith. Councilmember Schultz.
I guess I'll offer. Ask for a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Newsom. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Machines are open. Passes 7-0. Next item, please.
10, approval of the minutes from the June 27th, 2024 regular meeting.
Offered by Mr. LaFrance, second by Mr. Jurisic. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Machines are open. Passes 7-0. Next item, please.
11, new business. 11A, introduction of resolutions where a suspension is being sought. 11A1, a resolution authorizing and directing the parish president or his designee to do all things necessary and proper to assist the Prominent Youth Foundation and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Edwards.
Yes, Mr. Edwards asked me to bring this forward for him since he's out of town, so I'll offer for suspension. Ask for a second. Second by Ms. LaFrance. Comments from the audience for the suspension? Administration? Table? Machines are open for suspension. Passes 7-0.
A resolution authorizing and directing the parish president or his designee to do all things necessary and proper to assist the Prominent Youth Foundation and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Edwards.
Again, I offer, ask for a second. Second by Mr. Champagne. And just a little background, Ms. Edwards thought he had this in. There's an event going on that they do every year, DTR Summerfest, I think it was, Summerfest, that they do every year. It's just use of the grounds at Percy Griffin Center. So any comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Machines are open. Passes 7-0. Next item, please.
B, District 7 update, Suzie Bayou dredging project, update on NOV levee construction, Myrtle Grove Phase 2 road projects on District 7 roads throughout subdivisions.
Mr. LaFrance?
Just on Myrtle Grove Phase 2. When can we expect that project to start? I know we received the money.
I'll get those answers for you. I'll answer that.
Okay, thank you.
That's it?
That's it.
Excellent. Motion, do I have a motion adjourned?
So often.
Offered by Ms. LaFrance, second by Mr. Jurisic. Machines are open. Passes 7-0. We have adjournment at 3 o'clock.